at this point, we haven't seen you in so long. We have you, the usual suspect.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We need to, we
honestly,
need to, we need to, we need to find out where Pius has been. I don't know if you can say it on
Yo.
the airwaves, but we comment our reserve. The rest of us are doing fine. We're doing fine. We haven't had quite the experience that you have had, but we're doing
I don't know what you're talking about, but
fine.
yeah. Of course, maybe I can brief you after the show. But yeah, nice to be back. Yes.
It's nice to have you back.
Yeah, thanks. Adams is also here with us. Adams, how you doing?
Yeah, doing great, man. Doing great. We held it down for you, myself and
Yeah.
Uzo. It was. I'm sure you probably tuned in. It was some really good episodes, and we're happy to have you back. So let's get rocking.
All right, all right, all right. Right. So let's get rocking. So this weekend was packed with some few bits of action from the African Cup of Nations and some Premier League games. It was not a full complement of the Premier League fixtures, but a few teams were in action. So we're going to get our teeth into everything. So I think we should start off first with the few Premier League games that we had this weekend. Chelsea won at home, 1-0 victory for them against Fulham in Stamford Bridge. Tottenham Hotspur went to Old Trafford and got a good draw, a 2-2 draw with Manchester United. And Manchester City came from behind at an hostile St. James's Park. Two goals. They came back from a 2-1 defeat to win that game.
You can't even say it well.
Yeah, the talking point is the return of the magician, the maestro, Kevin De Bruyne. I'm sure we're going to be getting nothing to do that. Oh, I think we should even start with that. So let's start with that. Manchester City 3, Newcastle 2. A very good result from Manchester City. Newcastle, I've been on poor form, but getting a result at St. James's Park is always going to be a good result. Currently, currently as Newcastle are performing. So, let me get your takes, guys. So let me start with you, Uzo. I don't know if you saw the game, but what did you make of the game in general? And then we'll talk about Kevin De Bruyne later on. But first of all, what was your take on the game?
Yeah, it was an interesting game, so to say. I think that again the game was only dramatic because of kind of City's own mishaps, so to say. I think losing Ederson early obviously kind of interrupted their flow, um, and um, it kind of it brings back this whole offside thing, right? Because this is now the second time someone has gotten seriously injured from linesmen failing to put their flags up. Remember the infamous Van Dijk injury as well, which was on an offsides play with him and Pickford that put him out for a season. So I think the FA has got to look at that. It's very unsafe, especially because most offsides happen over a significant stretch of like distance where the players are running onto it. So there's so much that can go wrong for a play that is in effect a dead play. So I think we need to get back to referees being allowed and empowered to make decisions on the field. That we have VAR doesn't mean like we all just don't have eyes anymore. If something's obviously offside, we need to just go ahead and flag that and blow the play dead. But also, City were very wasteful. I thought they were playing some really, really nice stuff. You could tell like they're in a good bit of form. Their creativity is kind of back. You can see like their patterns are improving. They missed quite a few sitters in my opinion, and they were in very good like situations that could have made more out of. Very, 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 very beautiful goal by Bernardo Silva to break the deadlock. I honestly thought they're gonna just go on and just get rolling from here because there was really only one way traffic for large parts of that first half. But man, Alexander Isak, what a talent! Um, I almost feel like I should apologize to God because at some point I was comparing Richarlison to this guy, and I was saying that he hasn't, because he was coming off of that season where he only scored 4 goals for Sociedad in the back end before he got his move, and I was saying, yeah, he's a talent, but what has this guy done, etc. This guy is a bona fide killer. one chance. This is like two games in a row where he's had one chance and he's been able to just capitalize on the chance. Um, the 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 Newcastle attack right now feels like it feels very reminiscent of Kane and Son, where they get one or two opportunities and then there's just that magic between be it Isak or Almiron and Anthony Gordon. Just when they get chances, they're able to just take them away. And we saw two quick fire chances. This game was actually just filled with a lot of quality finishes. Quality finishes. Isak's goal was a banger. Then shortly after, followed by Gordon's goal. And this Anthony Gordon, me and Adams have talked about this. Like both of our clubs have been linked to this guy in the past. And boy, I'm just sitting here looking silly. We went to Everton, and I won't say we got the wrong guy because Richie has started to kind of kick on recently, but I would have done good with Anthony Gordon in my squad. He's a very very good player, but again, championship resolve, man. It was so obvious that these guys were going to bounce back. It was so obvious. Throughout that game, I was watching and I just kept thinking, I know how this ends. I know how this ends. The Premier League script writers are too lazy. I know. And as soon as I saw KDB warming up, I was like, we know how this ends. And yeah, like you said, we're going to have some talks about KDB soon because there's some very uncomfortable conversations that need to now be had about this guy and where he ranks in
Yeah, I
in
was
the
just
annals of the Premier
I
League.
can see
So,
Adams is already
and
like, the way he's
I'm
looking
going to
is
Oh
start some of those
please.
uncomfortable conversations.
Oh
I'm going to be
please.
I'm going to be in the forefront of those. There's certain
Please.
men that
Recency
have been right.
recency bi- recency bias.
The thing is, Adams is going. We're going to be here in 2034. They would have won 11 in a row, and Adams would still be saying recency bias. um, no, but there are some conversations that need to be had. We need to start putting some respect on this guy's name. This guy is an absolute marksman. He's a talisman. He's a leader. He's inspirational. Impact, whatever four-letter word you want to use, aura, vibe. He has it. He has all of it. Star power, everything. He's it. He is the show. Right now, the guy is unquestioned the best player in the Premier League. Gravity, all of that. In my opinion, this guy has missed almost the entire season. He slotted back in seamlessly, in a crucial moment for them as well. These are moments where in other clubs you say, oh, the guy is still injured. We need to, bring him in slowly. Let's not rush it. He's rusty. He needs some time. No, bang, straight away, bang. You need 3 points. Here you go, bang. This is what I do. I win Premier Leagues. I make moments. I create chances. And massive shout out to Oscar Bob as well. What a way to score your first goal. That finish, that touch is going to be overshadowed by the fact that KDB was coming back from a lengthy layoff, and that was a beautiful ball that he put in for Oscar Bob to latch onto. But that touch and that finish, we cannot take anything away from that. What a goal! What a performance! Those kind of wins are the kind of wins that allow you to go on a run.
yeah,
They create an atmosphere. They create belief. They bring fear back. So where teams have been looking at Spurs' performance or Liverpool's performance at the Etihad, or watching teams like Aston Villa get 3 points against Manchester City, now they're going to be looking at that performance like, these guys are back. We have to go and start respecting these guys again. So, um, yeah, it was a brilliant performance. What else can I say?
yeah, it was. And you're right about the result kind of like strikes fear in the like, especially the other title contenders. Arsenal, Liverpool. As a Liverpool fan, I was just going through some comments on Liverpool pages, and I was just like, I was about to remind people, like, come on, we're still ahead of them. Why are you guys panicking? There was a lot of panic, like, ooh, Manchester City are going to go on like a 13, 14 game unbeaten run now. And oh, we have those no Salah, no Alexander Arnold, we are short of players. Oh, I'm just like, calm down, we're still ahead of them. But I get the whole, City are like, they always have that, especially after January, where they just go on that run where it just seems like they can't lose. But we'll see how it goes. For me, I still maintain what I've said from the earlier part of the season. Manchester City is not winning it this year. I'm
I
not even
like
gonna lie.
that, man. Look, I respect that so much. Just coming from the fact that a lot of Arsenal fans never ever try to back their teams, or if Arsenal was forced, they will keep saying, we don't know. Let's see how it goes. Or they might say, "Oh my God, I respect that." That's what I want to see.
Okay, okay, all right. So going back to the Man City Newcastle debate. So Adams, let me start with you. I just want to give you this kind of, I want you to rank these players, right? Let's kick off the argument from there. So I have De Bruyne, Lampard, and Gerrard. I want you to rank them based on your top three for you. I'm gonna
Obviously, my top three is
give us a
definitely.
reason why you're ranking them that way.
Yeah, I guess I know you guys know who my top three is, or my top is already. There's no need to even beat around the bush. Like Frank Lampard is obviously clear. Like just his
Right.
numbers are insane. We talk about numbers, right? And most of the time, you guys say, "Oh, we can't overlook the numbers." Bro, this guy scores like 20 goals in a season for like 5 seasons straight. And let's not forget the type of midfielders that were and attackers that played in that era. It was obviously more difficult than it is now. The names you mentioned, Gerard, they're guys that Ronaldinho, bro. There's just like this guy's just incredible, man. He's just incredible, and right from when he made the move to Chelsea, I don't think he had any bad season. I don't think he had any bad season from when he came from West Ham to Chelsea, and even from West Ham, he was already starting to come into his own. So this is definitely the great one of the greatest midfielders the Premier League has ever seen. And um, I think I'll rank De Bruyne ahead of Gerrard. Yeah, I'll rank him ahead of Gerrard because again, we cannot discount like the titles that he has won, you know, and we can also discount his numbers too because I use numbers to put what's his name in front of him. If you look at the amount of assists that he has had, it's just ridiculous. And for just sheer technique and technicality, how good he is, Gerard is also really technical, but I'll just rank him ahead of Gerard because I feel like he has been able to win more than Gerard. But Gerard was also a very unreal player. And for him, for KDB, he's more like a late bloomer because in his early years, he was good, but he wasn't this good. Like he wasn't this good. It just feels like he's now in his prime. I don't know if it makes sense. And he's like 33. It feels like now is his prime. In his 20s, early 20s, he wasn't that great. But if you look at guys like Lampard and Gerrard, they were exceptional talents in their early 20s. So yeah, I'll rank him second, and I'll put Gerrard as third.
Okay. All right, Adam. I, I'm not going to. All right, let me hear Uzo. Uzo, what's your own ranking of this?
I mean, the beautiful thing is we have a Liverpool fan and a Chelsea fan here, and we're having this debate. And the reason why it's a debate is because this guy has made it a debate. So even whatever metric that we're going to use to create these rankings, obviously I think that KDB is at the top of that list. Mind you, I didn't need him to do anything else in his career for me to put him at the top of that list. I think that the crowning achievement last season of winning a treble on top of a domestic treble that he's already won in this league, which hasn't been done by any other midfielder that's in this debate besides Scholes, who's not even in the debate right now. Um, I think that already like set him apart. But for the sake of of just putting the debate to absolute rest. He's come back and he's looking again like, listen, this guy's about to go on to win his sixth Premier League title, four in a row, something that's never been done. He's won a treble. He's won a domestic treble. He's been player of the season twice. He's been PFA player of the season twice. He's won playmaker of the year three times. He's won. He's been on the team of the season, I think, 4 or 5 times. These are all accolades, by the way, right? That he's either tied for or leading the other two guys in this debate.
Yeah, they have them on.
These are now we're talking about individual accolades, right? In terms of like his level of importance to the team. He's been the unquestioned talisman, the unquestioned leader, the unquestioned best player in a team that has been winning the league 4 straight times in a row right now. So he has five, and he could possibly be on about to win his sixth, right? Now, of course, we know Gerard failed to win the Premier League, but he does have a Champions League trophy and he has a couple domestic trophies. We know Lampard was very decorated as a player. He won the league 3 times. So now we're talking about a 5-time Premier League winner and possibly a 6th time. There's just no, in my opinion, there's no logical debate as to why Kevin De Bruyne cannot be at the forefront of this conversation, right? As the greatest midfielder that the Premier League has ever seen. There's no logical debate. All of the debates are rooted in kind of personal preference, preserving the legacy of greats, see, there's this thing we do where, like, when we say someone has ascended to a certain level, people tend to feel like it invalidates the people that he surpassed. I don't think that that's the way we should be approaching it. I think we can celebrate the greats, the people that have brought the game to this point, right? While also acknowledging that it is possible for people to surpass them. If ever there was anyone that could surpass a Lampard or a Gerrard in terms of accomplishment, in terms of decoration, I think this guy has put forth the best argument. Like, when people go back and read about this guy's career, I struggle to see any logical way that you can justify him not being at the absolute top. So for me, it's Kevin De Bruyne, it's Lampard, and then it's Gerrard. Just in terms of, like, I'm gonna be consistent with the same thing with the Salah and the Hazard argument, right? When the margins are that close in terms of ability, in terms of performances, I think you have to default to decoration and to accomplishment. And when it comes to that,
But
I'm
the
sorry,
matches are not close,
just
though.
not.
They are not close in terms of performances, though. How many goals has he scored? How many goals has he scored? How many?
I'm not judging
He's
a
not
midfielder based on
close.
goals. I'm not judging a midfielder based on goals.
Bro, that's
Well,
crazy. That's
you're the
crazy.
same one who said that stats.
That's insane.
You're the one who said, Adams, you're the same one who told me that stats do not tell the story of ability and of impact. And now you're going to default to stats, specifically goals for midfielders. To me, that's shocking because
the same. It was the same. It was you also as well that said you cannot, like, in terms of the goals. Like, it's just too crazy not to take a look at it. It's just too crazy. Like, the gap is too glaring not to say, hold on a minute. There must be something here. Somebody has scored this insane amount of goals, and somebody else hasn't scored close to that. I'm sure, even if I will never, stats is always second to eye test. And for me, even with the eye test, Lampard is different from De Bruyne. Totally a totally different type of midfielder to him. And even with the eye test, Lampard was still incredible. Incredible. So then, if they are that close in terms of the eye test, because when I watch Lampard, I'm like, oh yeah, this is a top player. And I watch player and I look at the stats and I see the number of goals this guy has. That has to count for something. If trophies count, then goals have to count.
well, no one is saying that, but that's about the only stat that he leads in. Like, that's about it. So my thing is, if there's one argument, the thing is, I'm not sitting here saying, oh, it's egregious to say Lampard is still ahead all time of a Kevin De Bruyne. We're not talking about friggin' John Joe Shelby here. We're talking about Frank Lampard. He's one of the greatest midfielders in the world in Premier League history. I agree, but I just think that, that's why I said it's beautiful that we have a Liverpool and a Chelsea fan, because people get to see why these debates are so nuanced.
We sneak Gerrard in this list. Like, why is
because
it included?
again, what the debate is about. That's what I'm saying. Because the debate is usually beyond just the numbers. It's about the impact and the ability that you saw. Listen, nobody can question Gerrard in terms of ability in this league and the heights that he reached as far as an individual player in a team, right? That's as respectful as you can be to him when you're having these kinds of conversations, right? But when you're having all-time status debates, the entirety of it, I don't think Gerrard is particularly close to being the best midfielder that Premier League has ever seen. I think prior to Kevin De Bruyne, most people would probably put Lampard in terms of the things that he accomplished, in terms of his numbers. Again, all-time scoring leader in terms of midfielders. The numbers are absurd. I agree. Like, he is, like I said, we're not comparing John Joe Shelby to John McHale here. We're comparing greats to greats, right?
That's why I hate to do this, because it feels like you're like disrespecting the other player. I'm not, right?
And I don't think you are, right? I don't think you're disrespecting what Kevin De Bruyne has accomplished in this league. What I don't think you're doing, though, is I don't think you're understanding the gravity of what it means for someone to go on to win 6 Premier League titles as the talisman. It ain't like he won 2 when he was 18 as part of a big team. He came back to this league, right? I haven't already flopped, quote unquote, even though I don't think he got a fair shot, right?
And
He
and
came
and, and
back to
that's
this
another
league.
thing that also counts as part of his career because we saw
That's
him.
fine.
He
Listen,
was
even if he has Adams, even if he has 8 relegations, 6 Premier League titles.
no. That
What do they say?
the eye test. This is where the eye test goes back to, right? You've seen a player play this way. I saw him play for my team, and he wasn't great. He wasn't great. So that time that I saw him, yes, he has transformed and is, incredible. But I cannot forget that time. Like you can't erase it from my memory. It still takes away something from him because he failed. He failed.
That's
Like
fine.
it's harsh, but he failed.
And
And
so
I never saw Gerard do that. And there was
so
never a
so so
time.
now imagine.
There was
So
never a
now
time I saw
imagine.
Gerard. Like again, I'm being respectful
But
to his.
Adams. So now imagine someone silly, and this is how you sound right now, silly. Someone sillily tries to compare Lampard's time at Manchester City and say that counts. That's part of his legacy.
No, that's
We
insane.
have to. We have to.
Bro,
It
that's
is
not what I'm
insane.
saying.
It is
That's
insane because
no.
on the front or the back end of your career, what we are judging here is the impact that you have created overall, right? So if you're gonna say that counts, that does count. I'm not saying that all of a sudden we didn't see Kevin De Bruyne play at Chelsea, but what I'm saying is when he came back to this league, it was to right the wrongs, right, of the initial. For example, now Pulisic has left this league, right? If it was to perform really well in Milan, right, and get some type of crazy move back to the Premier League, it'll be about undoing the wrong that he's done in the time that he was
But
here
would
at
we
the league.
forget? Would we forget though? Lukaku, for instance, would that part of when he was in Chelsea, let's say something else happens, he scores 1 trillion goals. Would that ever be forgotten? No, we cannot just write. And it's different from what you're saying because that Lampard was already retired. Like he went to New York and he came on loan on a loan deal. I don't even know how long he stayed in Man City. Plus, this is if we want to compare that, we have to compare them at that age, right? Let's compare them at that
Right.
same age because this is a Lampard that
See,
already
not, not,
won.
not, not, not.
He
Now, my
won
thing is, you're
everything.
getting into. So if we're gonna do that, right?
No, I'm just
You've
saying
seen
that's not
people.
that's not even the bone of the like that's not even the bone
Okay,
of contention yet. I'm just saying that's just part of some of the reasons
like
why I'm
how
like,
many appearances did he make for Chelsea? What, 5, 6?
what? And I don't know off the top of my head, but
Let me
definitely
see.
more. I don't know. Let's you can look it up.
Okay, so he made 3 appearances for Chelsea over 2 years. What are we doing here, man?
Bro, he
What are we
couldn't he
doing
couldn't
here?
get into the team. He wasn't good enough. What are you
And that
saying?
and
He
so
wasn't
so
good
so
enough
that's what I'm saying. So what are we doing here?
because he
What am I
wasn't good
judging it?
enough. He
So what am I
wasn't good
holding
enough to
against them?
play. He wasn't good enough to play.
So what am I holding against them?
That he
Right
wasn't
here.
good enough to play.
We have to hold
Lampard
him
was
against.
never not good enough to play at that age. That's
Lampard,
insane.
there's a famous clip that's online, right? Of Redknapp having to literally defend
Bro,
Lampard against his own
you know,
fans at
you
West
know,
Ham.
that
Have you
was
seen
in
that
the
clip?
youth team. That was in the
Where
youth
they were
team.
saying
That
where they
that
were
was
saying
in
he's not good enough to be on the senior team.
that was in the youth
His own
team.
fans were.
He was
I'm not gonna
19.
take what people. That's what I'm saying. I'm not gonna take a young player finding his feet as some type of impact on his overall legacy when he's now come back to the league and absolutely dusted the league. That's what
He,
Kevin De Bruyne has done.
look,
Since he's been back in this league,
I
he's
don't, I don't,
absolutely
I
made
don't,
a mockery of
I
the
don't
league.
discount that. But we're not gonna forget what he did. He did, right? We can't just forget it. Like it still counts for something. That's what I'm
But what does
saying.
it count for? That's what I'm saying. What does it mean to you? What does that
It
mean?
means that he couldn't succeed in my team. That's what it means. Like that is still going to be part of his story. It's never going to be like, oh, everybody will still remember that, oh, he got signed to a team and he flopped. That is always going to be turn it around and become this great midfielder. But that is always still going to be a part of his story. That's all I'm saying. However way you want to take that, that's up to you. But that's always part of his story. Just like Gerard, whatever you want to say about him, he slipped. Like he slipped. So that is always going to be a part of his story. It is part. No
But
matter what.
but
Guys,
this
all right, guys. I think we should move
juxtaposing
on.
both is kind of weird to me because at the end of the day, like he never got a chance at Chelsea. He's now gotten a chance at Manchester City, and he's proven that again the way Chelsea fans will even approach that, right? And sorry to keep extending this, Pius, but the way most Chelsea fans look back at that debacle is they feel like they didn't want to have let him go in hindsight, right? Whether or not you think it was
Possibly.
justified at the time, no Chelsea fan is looking back like, oh yeah, he was a bum. We're happy we don't have him now. I'm sure every Chelsea fan
Of course, of
would.
course.
And another thing that's interesting is I wonder what the narrative and the rhetoric would be if KDB was doing all of this six titles, 4 in a row at Chelsea. I wonder if it would still be this
Bro,
contentious a debate in terms
bro,
of who the
I
greatest
think I
midfielder is
think
of
to
all time.
put I think where we have to put context into this is when we talk about team achievements. That is one of the things that's counting out Gerrard. Team achievements are wonderful, but then there's all other factors that comes into that. First of all, your coach. You have to have a good coach. You have to be lucky to play. You can make that same argument for Lampard if he had played under Pep all his career, or Gerrard. If Gerrard had played under Alex Ferguson, or he has played under Pep, or whoever it is, you probably have won the same amount, or who knows. But so trophies, like trophies that you win, sometimes they matter, but not all that much because there are other factors that has to come into play.
It's just very interesting how different this debate is to the Hazard and Salah debate. That's what I was just saying. I know the listeners, we still have that episode. Go back and listen to what this guy told me
That is what
about team accomplishments back then. That's all I'm going to say.
no, you guys said it. You guys, that's exactly what you guys told me, right? That's what
All right, guys.
that's
All
the
right.
same.
All right, let's move on from the debate. The debate to continue. You know, if I wanted to make it a bit controversial, I'll say, okay, let me be the tiebreaker here. So Gerrard, okay, we remove Gerrard from the debate. So Lampard and De Bruyne.
No, you don't count, man. I know what you're going to say. You don't count. You don't count because we discounted Gerrard. You're not breaking any tie. Just keep it moving. You're not breaking any tie.
All I'll say is every non-Chelsea fan knows the answer to this question. And it's no disrespect to Frank Lampard. Super Frankie Lampard. He is one of the greatest of this.
Bro, I just feel
Gerrard
like
isn't Lampard a Hall of Famer?
Lampard
Lampard is a Hall of Famer.
Lampard, some people never just get the respect that they deserve. Like
what more respect will this guy get?
Gerrard gets more respect than Lampard, and it's crazy to me. Like
I think Gerrard gets more sympathy. I don't think he gets more respect.
No,
That's
I
not
think
true.
he gets more respect than Lampard.
Where Lampard has kind of shot himself in the foot is his managerial career, right? And so he's kind of brought himself under a lot of scrutiny in that way. Yeah, but I think
but that's insane. That makes no sense. That makes no sense.
But I think most people before Kevin even got into this debate would say that Frank Lampard is one of the greatest midfielders. The greatest midfielder that we've seen in this league.
I've heard so many takes. I've heard so many takes about Scholes and Gerrard. Bro, they were saying I hardly ever seen anybody except Chelsea fans put Lampard ahead of Scholes or Gerrard. I hardly ever seen anybody except Chelsea fans. It was if he was playing in any other team, I'm sure he would have been idolized by now, bro. I don't just because he was Chelsea and he played under Mourinho. He didn't play for Alex Ferguson, so yeah.
All right, guys. The debate.
Let's not forget Scholes in this show. Scholes does have a fair argument. Midfield is not about goals and assists. That's all I want listeners to know.
Scholes and Gerrard can drag it out. I don't care. Lampard has achieved too much.
Midfield is not about goals and assists.
He shouldn't even be in that conversation. Scholes and Gerrard made it. Let them drag it between themselves, whoever is second.
Why are we talking about Scholes like he played in the mirror?
It's the same way you guys make me feel when you
what
talk
is
about
going on?
Salah and Hazard. That's how you guys make me feel.
Guys, let's move on. This is not a show.
The Scholes disrespect, by the way. Wow.
How am I disrespectful to him? I never disrespected him. I said Scholes and Gerrard.
How can you say it's not close?
They're not close to Lampard. They're not.
All right,
why is Scholes closer to Gerrard than Lampard? I don't get that.
Guys, we'll continue this conversation.
Bro, Gerrard and Scholes
we'll continue the conversation.
Get debate for second place. Now we have De Bruyne. Okay, De Bruyne. Yes, I get that. But Scholes and and Gerrard, bro. Even Gerrard needs to take several seats,
Bro,
please.
All
Scholes won 11 Premier League titles. Nah, the disrespect is
guys,
insane.
let's move on.
He
Let's
The
move
won
on.
disrespect is
11. He
mad.
won 11, and you guys even
11.
put him. You guys even put him in the conversation.
He's
Pius
in the
found a way.
conversation.
Pius found a way to sneak in Gerrard. You say, why does Gerrard?
Scholes is absolutely in the conversation, bro.
Oh my goodness. All right, guys.
11.
Let's move on from this debate.
He
all right.
retired and came back and dunked on Gerrard's head again.
Guys.
Where was Lampard when he was doing this
All
dunking?
right, guys. Let's
Lampard
move
was
on.
chilling with his several Premier League wins.
Oh man.
Guys, let's move on. Okay, since Adams is a bit fine, let's move to Chelsea. Chelsea won this.
Feels like
weekend.
I'm a bit delayed, guys, right?
No,
Does it
it's
feel
fine.
like that?
It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
I don't know. You sound fine on my end.
Right.
Yeah, same for me as well. Okay, so let's talk. Let's move to Chelsea. Chelsea 1-0 victors over Fulham at Stamford Bridge. Prior to that, they had a disappointing 1-0 loss to Middlesbrough of the Championship in the first leg of the Carabao Cup. So Adams, I wanted to react to those two games because you've not had. I don't think you've had a chance to react to this. So first of all, the disappointing loss to Middlesbrough in the Championship. That's the first leg of the Carabao Cup, and then the 1-0 victory.
Carrick ball. Where does Carrick stand in the all-time conversations?
What? Carrick and Gerrard, maybe.
Yeah.
Carrick and Gerrard, get.
Okay, so before we Adam, before you comment about Chelsea, there's somewhere I saw they're saying Mikel Obi is better than Carrick. What do you guys think?
I mean, bro. I feel like Carrick was really underrated. Like he
very
was,
underrated.
Yeah, he
Very
was
underrated.
he was a very, very technical midfielder. You know, he did.
As a Chelsea fan, you're saying he's better than Mikel.
I never said he was better, but I feel like he was really underrated.
What are you saying? What are you saying?
But he doesn't have an AFCON, so he let him try to lead his team.
Okay, all right, Adam. So react to Chelsea's midweek result and then.
Man, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah. So man, that game against Middlesbrough, I was just saying so many interesting takes, and I just wanted to hear what the Pochettino fans wanted to say. It was just crazy because this is a championship team. I don't even know how, because I haven't been paying attention to the championship lately, but I don't know how well they've been doing. But they also suffered a lot of injuries. In that game, they had to take off two of their players injured in that same game. So it was just crazy. And we played our regular, like the guys that should play. Thiago Silva played, Sterling played, Enzo, Caicedo, Gallagher, Palmer. Man, it was just a shocking game because they had, you could see that they were well trained, they were well coached. They were tactically set up to come and stifle Chelsea and make it difficult for us. But Chelsea, we were just relying on individual players. We were relying on Palmer to sort of bail us out, and most of the chances that Palmer got was Middlesbrough being a championship team making crazy mistakes, right? So it just goes to show that Pochettino has not really taken this team forward tactically. Like there's a lot missing from this team, and he basically blamed injury after that game against Middlesbrough. That was insane. Like he was saying that we have Nkunku out. I'm like, this is Middlesbrough, come on. And then I think after the game, the press conference for the Fulham game, he also says something like Middlesbrough beats Brighton, so it's normal. It's something that can happen. That was where he lost me. Because I've been trying to be very supportive of him, and I felt like, there's a lot of things going against him. I was even saying at some point that it's probably the owners that take a larger portion of the blame, but he hasn't done himself any favors or practically. And I remember speaking to Uzo before he came to Chelsea, and Uzo sold me dreams. He told me how good he was, how he was able to get the best out of a very poor Tottenham side when he first got there. I went and I bought this guy's book. There was this, it was like, I think it was an autobiography about his time in Tottenham. I was reading about this guy. I was like, bro, this guy was. I was so inspired. I was so happy to have him. I read about his time at Espanyol. I read about his time at Southampton. And and Spurs, and I was really expecting him to come in here and create a culture. There was something Uzo said. He said he's a culture. I can't remember. Is he a culture shifter or something? Like I can't remember what you
Yeah,
said. Yeah.
yeah.
So he comes in and he weaves himself into the fabric of
The
your
fabric,
team, and
right?
yeah, and he kind of like changes the culture of your team. He's not like a Pep or a Mourinho that becomes imposing and becomes the culture, but he just comes in and he maneuvers himself and he makes it a lot better. But compare this team to the team that Potter had. I don't see a lot of differences. Yes, we've been able to, get some really great results against teams that perhaps nobody expected us to beat. But since then, it's been one step forward, two steps backward. So he's not been really great for him. I fear for him. If he fails to turn that around against Middlesbrough midweek, I think the fans are starting to turn on him. And Uzo has always maintained that even when we win, it's never exciting, right? As compared to Manchester United, even when Manchester United are very poor, whenever they win, there's this belief, there's this confidence. But whenever Chelsea wins, we're like, oh, well, okay, it just happened, and we never know what's going to happen again. So yeah, that was for the Middlesbrough game, and for the Fulham game, it started to feel like when a coach needs a result, when you're feeling like, oh, this coach is about to get sacked, or is about to get fired, and then somehow something happens, he just wins another game just to buy himself, more time. It happened to Solskjaer a lot for Manchester United. There was this time where he was just buying results. He was just almost like, oh, okay, he managed to get this result. Let's wait till next week. I feel like that's what's happening to Poch at the moment. I don't think he will get sacked though, but I just feel like the fans will completely turn against him. And once the fan completely turn against him, there's no going back from that. The players will start to suffer. That game against Fulham, the players wanted it, right? I just felt like the players wanted it. I don't think it was anything special from him. The players just wanted it. They created many good openings, many good opportunities for themselves. Enzo was particularly very good, but we were riding our luck a lot in that game. There was a red card that Gusto should have gotten, and I think Fulham also had some really good chances to tie the game. But Petrovic, which is another underrated signing, and that's one of the reasons why I have hope in our recruitment. I look at guys like Gusto, Petrovic, and I'm like, okay, maybe these guys know what they are doing. But yeah,
Palma as well.
yeah, Palmer, yeah. But yeah, yeah. Thanks to Palmer again for the penalty. If not, I don't know. I think Pochettino will be out of a job by now.
Okay. So, and I'm just okay. One quick question before we move on from Chelsea. Do you think you guys can overturn that 1-0 deficit from the
I
first
mean,
half?
I expect them to. I expect them to. Um, Uzo has made that point about the team and Poch too not being good away from home. And if you see most of our better results, except of course the Spurs game, it's been at home at Stamford Bridge. So I'm expecting that it will be too difficult for Borough when they come to the bridge. But we need to score two goals. We
Yeah.
need to score two goals, and that can be tricky, right? That can be really tricky. So it's all to play for. I think his job is on the line. He knows the importance of these results, and he has everything going for him because he's at home. So I'm expecting that he'll be able to, turn that around.
Yeah, same here. I think Chelsea will turn that game around. I think it's a Chelsea Fulham Liverpool final. I'm still not sure. That Fulham Liverpool game is still in the balance for me in the second leg.
Come on,
Okay,
man.
all right.
Come on, man. It's Chelsea versus Liverpool.
All right. All right, okay. So let's quickly move on to the last game from the Premier League this weekend. Manchester United 2, Tottenham 2 at Old Trafford. Coming out from the game, I saw a lot of comments praising Tottenham. Oh, with the injuries, with the midfield of Skip, Hoiberg, and Bentancur, that Tottenham were able to dominate Manchester United. In fact, this there was no Son and the injuries, and there was a lot of praise for Tottenham coming out of the game. Most of the Tottenham fan is with us. I want to get your take as well. Were you impressed? Was the result positive in your view, or were you disappointed, or you felt that Tottenham should have gotten more than just the 1 point from that game?
Excuse me. Um, for me, it's a mixed bag, but it's the same way I felt when the lineups were released. It's the same way I felt kind of in the lead up to the game. It's a mixed bag. Is I don't know how to feel about the result. I'm happy with the point because I think on the balance of it, it's a good point because it's 4 points from Manchester United, who are for whatever their form has been and whoever we think they are now, at the start of the season, that's one of the teams that you need to be getting a positive point differential from if you want to be finishing top four. That's one of those teams where they're a direct rival, they're a direct contender for the European places that maybe we were aspiring to. So 4 points from United. I can't remember a single season where they failed to beat us in the entirety of the season in recent memory. So that's not something that's common. So of course it's a good result on the whole to be able to get 4 points from them. Um, Before the game, if you would have offered me a point, like a day before the game, if you would have offered me a point, I would have said no, right? I would have said, no, we can go there and win. Um, when I saw the lineups, if you would have offered me a point, I would have taken it, right? Now, when the game started, if you would have offered me a point, I would have bit your hand off and grabbed it and ran. So the
Yeah,
way I look at that point, I'm like, I'm satisfied. But I can't sit here and pretend that yesterday, before like I knew of the lineups and anything else, I would have been okay with a point. No, I wouldn't have. I would have wanted three because I think if we are in a title race, as the manager says we are, and so now it's not just me, so everybody else can stop jumping on me when I say we're absolutely in the race. Our manager has now come out to say we are absolutely in the race. So if we are in a race, we should be looking to get 3 points from a team that is in a poor turn of form, like Manchester United are. Um, However, we know that they're a different beast at home, especially against sides that are going to give them space in behind. So it was always a tricky game. It was always a very bad spot to be in. But considering the way the game went and the lineup that we put out, and I'm absolutely satisfied with a point. Now, I don't think we should be getting praised because United also have their injuries, right? They don't have their first choice midfield. They don't have their first choice center back pairing. And they aren't exactly like free of any kind of issues in terms of like their squad as well. So they come in with some of the same issues that we do, but they weren't missing five starters like we were. They don't have kind of like their main attacking components missing like we did. So ultimately, they should be holding themselves to a better performance than we saw out there. And the way that I look at that game, I don't think we played well. I found myself frustrated a lot with our decision making in the final third, and our defending was extremely shocking on transitions. And I think they could have hurt us a lot more than they did, especially in the first half. Again, Van de Ven is just fresh off of a lengthy injury. Romero is just fresh off of a 2 week injury. Um, we have Bentancur, who's coming back from an ACL tear and turning his ankle. So he's also working his way back into fitness. And then we pretty much have the rest of our attack and midfield missing. So I didn't expect them to be like sharp and on their P's and Q's, but the performance was very sloppy. But where I'm looking at that game and I'm going, wow, is as bad as we were, in my estimation, United were 50 times worse in terms of their approach to the game. They were good on the counter and they were clinical and they took their chances. But their approach to that game, in my opinion, was far too respectful for a Spurs side that, in my opinion, is just not as strong as they tried to pay us respect for. If I'm going in, and this is how I explained it to my boy, right? If we're going to take all six midfielders, I think Bentancur was the best midfielder on the pitch in terms of ability and in terms of pedigree, in my opinion. You can say what you want about Bruno. Maybe it's a debate, right? In terms of like what he's accomplished as well. Whatever. Bruno's not my cup of tea, so I'm having Bentancur all day, right? But after him, the next three are all United. I don't think that. Well, maybe that's harsh. Plays a different style, but for the style that we want to play, Hoiberg and Skip, in my opinion, aren't objectively better than Ericsson and Mano. because I think Mano is absolutely class. Now he had a poor game today, but I think he's pretty good. Like I don't think like I would personally want to be playing Manu instead of Hoiberg. That's just me. And as much as Ericsson's legs are dead, I think Ericsson has way more creativity in his pinky than Skip has in the entirety of his body. So so when we're picking a midfield, I'm like, yeah, your three go ahead of my bottom two. So I'm expecting that United is going to have some control of the midfield. And I was very, very complimentary of United's performance against Chelsea at Old Trafford. I felt like they were positive. They actually got in Chelsea's face. They left a lot of spaces in behind for Chelsea to attack them, but at least they were on the front foot and they were trying to go win that game. This game didn't feel like United came out to win the game. They were very, very negative. Their
They
line
know
was
who they are
super
now.
deep. I guess so, but if I'm in Old Trafford, right, and I'm playing a Spurs side that is that weakened in terms of their starting lineup, they're missing five key players in terms of their attack. I'm looking at my team to go out
Yeah.
there, and I'm not saying you should play Pep or club style football, but you need to be positive.
Absolutely.
So United losing the possession battle, losing the shot. Listen, we had way more. We had twice the amount of shots as them. We created twice the amount of moments, more touches in their box, way more possession. They didn't press us. They didn't try to lay a glove on us. A lot of the chances that they created were just long balls that bypassed our entire midfield. Because again, like I said, we performed poorly on the whole. But I look at that game and I'm like, boy, if this is what United fans are going to be subjected to for the rest of the season, then it is tough times. It looks like they're playing for survival. It looks like they're playing to not lose. It looks like they're playing to survive the 90 minutes. A lot of those players feel like they're just trying not to get blamed, right? Um, but on the whole, I thought that a draw was a fair result because our performance was nowhere near the standard that I hold the team to, that I've come to hold the team to over this last season. I think Van de Ven was very, very rusty, and you could tell, yeah, this guy is just fresh back off of an injury because he wasn't up to the races. He didn't even look like he had his pace back. Like he was very labored running back. He was sloppy in possession. There was a chance he almost gave away midway through the first half. I thought Romero was very, very good. Porro was extremely shaky. He kept losing. Rashford was in acres of space. I'm like, do we realize that that is their major threat on the transition? Um, but yeah, Porro was defensively very, very poor in the first half. He turned it around second half. I thought Destiny was very good. Hoiberg was actually quite decent for as much as I've like slated the guy. He was actually quite decent. He found some pretty good passes. He was securing possession, even though like he still had his bozo moments, which are just down to his lack of ability. The thing with Hoiberg that that makes me laugh is when he has his bad moments, it's really just because like he just doesn't have the ability to do any better. Like it's either he gets done for pace or he gets done because he can't control the ball or he can't drive with the ball, and it's just like you almost kind of feel bad for him because it's just like this is just your limitations as a footballer, like showing. Um, Skip was actually kind of average on the whole. Like he wasn't bad, he wasn't poor. But again, United weren't in their face. They weren't being pressed. They weren't being forced into mistakes. They were being respected like this was like Xavi and Iniesta. I'm like, why are you backing off Skip and Hoiberg? I would be trying to get in their face and force mistakes. These guys are very error prone. They have no technical security. I can't believe they were just allowed the freedom of the park. So um, on the whole, we had some decent performances. Timo Werner got an assist. That's
Yeah.
wild. So Timo Werner has an assist in this league before Anthony.
Yeah.
That's just
So,
so
so I
shocking
was
to
just
me.
sorry. I was just going to ask you, Uzo.
This league doesn't make any sense.
I was just going to ask you, Uzo, before I move to Adam. There's a question I want to ask Adam. It's an interesting question. But before I move to Adam, let me ask you. So Tottenham has been active this January transfer
In the
window.
window, yep.
Timo Werner, and there's another guy, Dragus.
Dragusin, yeah.
Yeah. So what have you made
Romain
of these two
Reigns.
signings?
Romanian
I saw
Reigns.
you.
Romanian reigns.
I saw you excited about the Dragusin sign. Like
I'm only excited because he so-calledly snubbed Byron to come to Spurs,
wow.
which I think is a testament to some of the good work that we've done in terms of courting a player well ahead of time and not just being reactive in the window. Listen, I've been here criticizing my ownership, criticizing our recruitment for years, and I think it's time for me to say they've turned it around. We're absolutely now moving like a proper club. The manager came out and said that he needed signings to come out early in the window. They delivered. They delivered on his main target. He's come out and said that of all the options that we presented him with, Dragusin was his number one option in terms of who he felt would be more suitable for what he wants to accomplish. And apparently, we've been working on that deal for months in advance before January. Bayern tried to come in last minute, but the player decided to keep his word to Spurs, and so I respect that. I think just based off that kind of like um, loyalty to us, he's already my favorite signing because when do you ever see a player choose Tottenham over Bayern?
Yeah.
I went to sleep that night and when they said it's up to the player now that they've accepted both bids, I was like, oh well, I mean that's him off the Bayern. Let's see who we're going to target next. And I wake up the next morning and they're like, he's chosen Spurs. I was like, what?
Wow.
Shocker.
You have to
So
be very very careful of a player that chooses Spurs over Bayern. You have you,
I mean, but also in the same vein, I can say, like, banter aside, in the same vein, I can say you have to be careful of a player who wants to go be third choice, fourth choice behind Kim and Jay, Delete, and
yeah.
Upamecano. Like, come on, he has to be assessing his options and thinking what's good for my development. And honestly, a player that is worried about the development of their career more than the money, more than the pedigree, to me, that's a sign that you're already thinking smartly about the progression. How many times have we seen players go try to be seventh or eighth in the pecking order because it's a bigger team, it's
Yeah.
more money, it's more success, and then they end up their career goes sideways. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think that's good on him. I'm very excited about us delivering that. But also I have to give some flowers to Don Paratici, bro. The guy has done an immense job because again, as much as he doesn't work for us anymore, this is him. These are his links. This is his work in Italy that
Yeah,
has led
I
to
was
this
about to
signing
say,
as well.
isn't he banned? Wasn't he banned or something?
Yeah, he's banned, but he's working as an advisor. So there's
Okay.
ways around that. So he's not the one brokering any of these deals, but these are all his links. He signed Dragusin for Juventus when he was still their sporting director. The same way he signed Kulusevski and he signed Romero, and all these guys are in our team because of him. Udoge, Poro, all of these guys. Where I will then say is this Brennan Johnson guy. What the hell, man? What, bro? This guy's bad, bro. This guy's not. I'm sorry. Like, I hate to do this to one of my own signings. I was telling my fans, I'm like, I've never felt this bad about a signing in all my years supporting Tottenham, and we've signed a lot of bad players, right? I'm always willing to give a signing time to prove that they're worthy of whatever fee and justify whatever. Like, I never jump on signings early, right? I believed in Richarlison, I believed in Perisic, I believed in all of these guys. Like, I always back them until they prove otherwise. This guy is the first time that I've ever been like, boy, we fucked up. This is not a good signing, bro. This is not a he's not a good player. I was watching him against United today, and to me, he was the worst player on both sides.
Wow.
Like he was the worst player on the pitch overall. Like he was really, really bad. His decision making is extremely shocking. He has no composure in the final third. He never picks his head up to pick a pass. He always just plays the same ball across goal repeatedly until it works. And if these are the guys that we're going to be, you know, um, trusting and believing in to deliver us goals in a very important stretch of the season, then we're going to be in trouble. So we need Kulusevski back, we need Sonny back, we need Madison back, because I don't want to have to be subjected to seeing more of Brennan Johnson ball. That being said, Vernon was actually quite decent. For someone that hasn't played in 2 months, he was actually quite decent. He maintained a threat, running off the ball. I think he kept Dallo very occupied. He wasn't really good taking players on or creating anything, but he ended up sneaking one of those Sergio Busquets type of assists. And we love that. We love that for the stats because that's going to come in handy when you're having a rival band. So overall, I'm happy with the window in January, though. I think we did what we had to do, and they've backed the coach. So now he needs to go ahead and deliver in the second half of the season. I think we need to be targeting at least top four minimum. That's my opinion. So
All right. Good times at Spurs right now. Spurs are bouncing. Yeah. Good.
really weird. This is
Yeah.
one of the rare times that, as a Tottenham fan, we've had just good news on good news on good news, and we're all kind of waiting for the inevitable bad news to fall. Um, it kind of came in the form of Kulusevski being ill before the game, but it wasn't a long term injury. So again, yeah, it's good times. It's really weird, really really weird, but we take
Nice.
those.
Nice. Okay, so Adams, the other side of the coin, Manchester United. So I think I heard from one of your, I don't know, one of your shows, one of your podcasts, where I think you mentioned that Chelsea have been kind of like, I'm paraphrasing. I'm not sure how you put it, but it's something around the lines of Chelsea have been kind of unfortunate. They are like, in your view, Chelsea is supposed to be like ahead of Manchester United on the table based on the way Chelsea has played. So can you clarify that or expand on
Yeah,
it?
yeah, the table is false, and we're hoping on Spurs to do us justice today, to do everything justice and make it clear. But Spurs being Spurs, they bottled it and then they drew the game. But but to be honest, it's just like if Tottenham had won today, they will be above Arsenal. Are they really better than Arsenal? But I mean, it doesn't make my point because it didn't happen. So, but what I'm trying to say is, I feel like the table is still up and down in nature. Like you lose two games
Yeah.
today, yeah. So I don't think it tells the true story of each
Yes.
of how good
Yeah.
each team is.
Sorry. Yes, I think you can always judge at the end of the season, right? So
Yeah,
the last
yeah,
after the last game, that's when you now
yeah.
judge.
That's when
So
you can use the table to actually gauge. But for right now,
yeah.
you can tell by performances, you can tell by what you see that yes, this team might be above this team, but they is not really true. You
Okay.
know.
So let me put this there. So Liverpool is the first position, right? At no.
I mean, you said it yourself, but I feel like Liverpool actually deserve to be where they are right now. You guys have, I feel like when it comes to the top of the table, whatever team is there deserves to be there. When it comes to being number one, I feel like that's different. I feel like you guys have deserved to be there. Now, I don't think you guys will stay there because I don't think you guys, have the ability
What
to
it takes to stay.
maintain.
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. But I feel like you guys have done very well to be
To
where
be
you
where
are.
we are right now.
Yeah.
Okay. 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 One final bold prediction from you. Chelsea and Manchester United, who finishes higher than who?
I'm begging Poch, man. I'm begging Poch because this I don't see how I don't see what can turn around Manchester United's season. I don't know. It doesn't feel like anything can happen anymore. Maybe if they sack the manager, I don't see that key defining thing that can turn around their season. I don't just see it. For Chelsea, you could make an argument and say maybe if they get a better finisher, maybe if something happens in January, maybe that could help Poch, or maybe even Kunko becomes fit. That can happen and that could help him. But I don't just see anything for Manchester United right now. I feel like they play horrible football. Like they play worse than we do, like way worse than we do. So I hope that I'm just begging Poch to finish above Manchester United. If he doesn't do anything for us, let him just do that for us. We need to finish above them because we're definitely better than them. But for the predictions, I think we will. I think we'll finish better. We'll finish ahead of them.
All right. Okay. Bold one. All right. Also, do you think Tottenham can finish ahead of Arsenal this season?
What I will say is we better not. We
Oh,
better not.
you don't want Tottenham to finish ahead of Arsenal.
No, no, no. I'm saying that Adams understand what we Arsenal fans, don't you dare. Do not dare allow Tottenham to finish ahead of you. After the banterific season that we had last season, losing our best ever player, and our manager being 7 months into a process that apparently takes 5 years for other teams. Don't you dare allow Spurs to finish above you. Do we have a shot to? Of course. I think over the first half of the
No,
season,
that's not happening,
we
man. You guys are not
we
in the Champions League.
only I think it's on the board. Reason why is over the first half of the season, we were only 1 point behind their point tally, right? Which means we were only 1 point worse off than their performances. And you can argue that we had the worst luck. We had a lot of injuries. We had suspensions, which are our fault. And the manager said the same thing. He was like, the suspensions are our fault. So it's not like, oh, bad luck. It's like, nah, just be better. So if we are able to turn around some of those kind of like bad luck or um, unfortunate things that we've done to shoot ourselves in the foot, I think 11 for 11, we can go on a run and get one more point than them in the next run of games, which would put us ahead of them. So
Hmm.
I think Adams is wrong when he says that the table lies when it comes to your league position because I don't think the table does lie. I think at every point in the season, the table is an accurate representation of where each team is. I've always backed Chelsea to finish above United, and I'll say with more confidence than Adams. Forget about begging Poch. I think Chelsea will finish above United. And I had been telling him this even when they were losing games. I was like, I think Chelsea will finish above United because I just think there's more sustainability in what Chelsea do than what United do. And also, Chelsea's floor is not as low as United's floor. United's floor will get them absolutely run out of the gym, 3 goals. Chelsea's floor is like a few draws, frustrating draws where they're not able to unlock a low block or giving away a lucky goal to the opposition and losing 1-0. Chelsea are not out here getting battered and getting run off the pitch, losing games to Chelsea are not getting smoked 3-0 by Bournemouth at Stamford Bridge. So when we think about lows, Man United lows are extremely low. We just know that they have the ability to turn up against the bigger sides when they have a lot of space in behind. So I fully think Chelsea will finish above United, but I think right now the table is reflective of where you are. And if you go look at some of the underlying metrics, Spurs have been the more dangerous attack over the first half of the season in terms of like the chances that we're creating, the touches that we're taking in the opposition's half, and our XG performance. And as much as what has let us down is our performance defensively due to injuries and suspensions, obviously, we've now addressed that in the window. So you expect us to go on to have a better defensive record and to actually perform at the level that is required for us to sustain a title challenge until like the likes of April.
Okay.
But I'll tell you this, Arsenal
You-
fans, don't you
you
dare,
must-
don't you dare, don't you dare allow us to finish above you.
Interesting, man. Interesting.
Because I'll have some interesting takes. You think you hate me now? Boy.
All right. Okay. All right. So I'm sure some Arsenal fans will be like, this guy.
Bro, they've been against him. Like
They've
he
been
he
cooking
not
him.
he
I've
not
seen some comments like
he
they've been
he
saying,
did
"How dare
another
this
episode
man?"
praising their
Serious.
players. He did another episode praising their player. Oh, Saka is this and that. And like
They were cooking my guy. Said this sports fan. He has the audacity to talk about Arsenal.
yeah.
I've been laughing. I've been seeing it.
You know the crazy thing is Arsenal finished above us for the first time last season in like 7 years. They're the ones who shouldn't have any nerve mentioning us. But I'm not gonna sit here and be shameless like that. Just saying. But don't you allow us to get back above you after we so-called
Bro,
wasted
I
our
saw
peak.
I saw the
That's all I'm
table
saying.
and I was like, so if Tottenham wins, they go above Arsenal.
Well, we're level on points with them right now.
That's
So we're level on
crazy.
points with them.
That's
Like,
crazy,
this
man.
season has been so tight. Like if we just lose a game, like Liverpool.
And honestly, they have the harder fixtures in the next half of the season. I already detailed how many they have to come to us. So that's already a 3-point game that we can turn around if we win. Now, obviously, it's NLD, so nothing's guaranteed.
Spurs
But-
are now
but-
starting to
but-
talk. They're not starting to
Spurs are cooking. Spurs are cooking. Come on.
bro.
Wow.
I'm just saying, one game at a time.
Man.
But you see that demon over there in the blue half of Manchester, man. Come on. We're all
Wait,
all
wait,
of
wait,
us
wait,
are
wait,
playing
wait,
for
wait, wait,
consolation.
hold on,
We're
hold
playing
on,
for
hold on.
consolation.
Are you guys actually serious about the title challenge?
When I say a challenge, and I've explained this to you, Adam, so don't be shameless, right?
Bro,
I said no. So let me say it again for the viewers, because people are going to think I'm deluded. Do I think Tottenham can win this league? Absolutely not. 0% chance. If I had, again, the way you can tell if someone is serious about their takes, tell them to put their money on it. Would I put 1 cent on Spurs winning this league? Of course not. When I say a title challenge, I think that there are 3 teams that are solidly in the race: Arsenal, City, and Liverpool. That means there's only one more spot available for top 4. Now, if you have any aspirations of going to Europe and playing in the Champions League, you have to put yourself in the title race, because that's the only way that you get it.
No,
If you get dragged into a top 4 race,
we can't
that's
call it a
3-4
title race.
teams.
You should find that disrespectful, Pius. We will say you are in a top 4 race. It's not.
No, if we're in a top 4 race, then that means we're fighting for one position. I think when I say title race, that means you need to stay within touching distance of the guys that are. There's always contenders, and then there's challengers. Liverpool, Arsenal, City are contenders for the league, meaning they can win the league. We are challengers, meaning we can stay in the hunt. Until you're mathematically out of the title race, you're technically everybody's in the title race right now. I'm just saying, we're challengers. We're challengers.
Mental gymnastics, But
I've always said we're
About that.
challengers.
I
We're
don't
gonna
know
stay
about
within 8
challengers,
points of
but-
this league title.
all right.
We're gonna stay within 8 points of this league title race until April. That's the only way we can make top 4, in my opinion. That's the only way we can make
All
top
right.
4.
We'll see how that goes. There's one other game. Just remember.
Adams, are you in the title race? See, guys pipe up when it's somebody else's
Bro,
team. Look at him.
we are 9 points away from you guys. You just said you're 8 points away from the title. We're 9 points away from you. So
Well, we're 5 points off the title. So you're in the 30 race then.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
when
You're
according
only
to
13
you,
points off. You're only 13 points off. Hey,
All right, there was one. There was one other game this weekend as well. Everton and Aston Villa ended 0-0. So Aston Villa dropped some points.
oh,
I don't know if Aston Villa,
those guys should
Aston
yeah,
get
Villa
Villa.
is
lost.
in the 90 race.
Villa are a team that the table is lined for because when you look at the underlying metrics, no, I'm being.
I thought you said the table
They've
doesn't
been
lie.
good. They've been good, but they're not second, third good, right? Because when you look at their chances created, their XG prevented, all that, they're very, very, very low in those metrics, and that tells me that they won't be able to sustain that same pace over the next half of the season. And you're already seeing like they're not really that clinical going forward. I think a lot of what they rode was really good form. That Everton game, I think Everton should have won that game. And I'm sure if Jacob comes on, he would be one of the first to say like they could have and should have won that game. Um, I think they had a goal ruled out for offsides. That was a proper battle, mid-table battle for real between Everton and Villa. It was actually a pretty good game to watch. But I think Villa, they're already starting to show the cracks. And they've had some injuries as well, some suspensions that have kind of like put them in weird spots. And it's kind of obvious that they're going to be just like Newcastle were last season and not be able to have the same level of performance over the second half of the season.
All right.
I just feel like this season we'll change our minds a lot of times because
Yeah.
things are just going to keep happening, and you'll be like,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's a
yeah.
very
I
tight.
love the parity though.
Yeah.
I love how one win you can be fourth and then
Yeah.
two
Very
losses
tight.
later you can be ninth. I love it.
Yeah.
I think this is the league that I want to be a part of going forward. Just get Manchester City to come down to our level some more, and then
Yeah,
we
exactly.
can
You
really
know,
have a
like,
good league.
Maybe a couple wins. You never know. We might.
yeah, you might.
We
You know.
might.
All right, guys. Guys, let's quickly switch our attention now to the African Cup of Nations. Kickstarted this weekend. Some interesting results have occurred just within the 2 days the competition has kicked off. A few of them. So the hosts, Ivory Coast in Group A, kicked off their tournament with a 2-0 win at home to Guinea-Bissau. Good performance from them. The other teams in the group, Nigeria, our darling Super Eagles, were not able to win their game, so they ended the 1-1 draw with Equatorial Guinea. The shock result of the tournament so far, the Cape Verde Islands defeating Ghana by 2-1. Right, so interesting. In terms of this AFCON, right? So
You missed one though. You missed one.
Oh yeah, and then Egypt,
The king of Africa.
7-time winners, disappointingly could not win. They were held to a 2-2 draw with Mozambique. It took a 97-minute penalty from Mohamed Salah to rescue a point for them. So interesting. So this is looking like an AFCON of surprises and shocks. We'll see how it goes. In terms of Opta released like the favorites to win the tournament. I think you have Senegal, top spot, Morocco, somewhere along the lines. So I think Nigeria is like 5th or 6th, like probability to win the tournament. So that already tells you where we are in terms of, we're in the trenches right now. Adams, I don't know, is there anything you want to just
I just want to read something that an Egyptian said. He has no spirit. He has no personality. He has no moments. He does not like to defend on the field, and he's afraid for his feet. Mohamed Salah is the worst captain and worst star in the history of the Egyptian national team. Come on, bro.
I think we're gonna cook him. Oh my goodness!
Bro,
I think
he
Mohamed
needs
Salah was disappointing today. Yeah, I think
for Egypt. He has always been disappointed. What has he ever done for them?
No, calm down. He took Egypt to the World Cup. Come on, when they've never
Took them
been to the World Cup before. Come on,
It took them to the World Cup. That's the bare minimum. Ayu took Ghana
Not
to the
really.
World Cup.
That was their first ever World Cup appearance. How's that the bare minimum?
Ayu took Ghana to the
Wait,
World
Adams,
Cup.
how can you say that's the bare minimum?
You can't.
Adams, Adams, how can you say that's the bare minimum when they've never been to the World Cup before?
But
how can that be the bare minimum?
When they have a player like that, that should be the bare minimum for them, since they have him. Before they never had Sal, they never had a
Come
player
on,
like that.
Adams.
So
Egypt have had some. Egypt are the winningest team in AFCON history. They've been underachieving and not making the World Cup. So it shouldn't be expected that you make the World Cup.
Exactly.
But he did it. So credit to him. I think Salah. If we're being real, right? Salah is an anomaly of a player, right? I don't understand how to really gauge this guy. Because again, like I told you, that Arsenal game, I've never seen someone have a world class performance and also be the worst player on the field at the same time. I've never seen it. It's such a paradox the way this guy performs in games. He's the only one, him and maybe Bruno Fernandes, that can simultaneously be the best and the worst players in the same game, and then also be the match winner. So
no, I think
I don't know.
Trent can do that too. Trent does that too.
No. I fully disagree.
Trent
I
does
fully
that.
disagree.
I watch Trent sometimes. I'm like, what, like the whole game he's missing or he's at fault for everything, and then he turns it around
And
and
then he just
becomes
comes
those.
up with one beautiful
Yeah,
pass and assist or shot on
yeah.
goal. Yeah.
But
He
that's
has
more
that
so
ability
defensively,
as
right?
well.
We'll say like he has shortcomings defensively. But Salah, for me, like he would be bad on the ball and at the same time be great on the ball in the next moment. It's just so weird.
Yeah.
Like it's such high extremes of
Yeah.
performance.
So
Egypt are not a good. I don't think they should be expecting anything from that Egyptian squad. Let's be real. Like Salah aside,
yeah.
it's not a squad that's built to win. Now I know Banta is ripe in the air. We love AFCON for this.
Yeah.
Everybody should win. Even Osimhen, like I have my agenda against Osimhen, but I don't look at this Niger squad and think this is a team that should be favorites or should be winning the AFCON. I don't
Yeah.
think so. It's
Yeah.
not a balanced squad. It's a patched up. Bro, our goalies, three of them together. If you put all three in goal, we might still have the most goals in the tournament. So again, I don't sit here and like hold these performances against Egypt or against Nigeria, but I do think when you're that. I mean, he did score a penalty in the last minute, so he rescued a point,
Yeah. That
and
penalty.
it remains to be seen
Yeah.
like how they go on. Last AFCON, I didn't think they were playing that well, and they ended up making it to the final. So you
Yeah.
never know. AFCON
Yeah.
is weird like that.
Yeah.
AFCON is very strange. So
You
I
just
think
have to
guys
be
are ready
very
to dunk
good.
on him though. So
Yeah, you have to be very good defensively. Once you have the defense on lock, I think you're
it's a
good.
defensive tournament. It always
Yeah.
has been.
Yeah.
Even some of the best attacks, Cameroon with Eto and Mboma and all these guys, 2-1 is what 2-1, 1-0 here and there. You know what I mean? Like this is just is why we love it. It's why we love this.
Yeah, it just comes to that it's unpredictable, you know.
Yeah.
Because right now it's very difficult for you to say, oh, these are the outright favorites. Okay, you can say, okay, the defending champions, Senegal, Morocco, semi-finalist in the World Cup for the
Even Senegal have fallen off, in my opinion.
Yeah,
I don't expect the same level of like Koulibaly is not Koulibaly, Mane is not Mane. These guys are not playing at the high level of like club football like they were, a couple years ago. So I'm not looking at it like, oh, these guys should be going in there and they're absolute favorites. Honestly, when I look at the tournament on the whole, I don't see any team that stands out to me as this team should be going on to win it. Do you? Does anyone else like this?
I just feel like Senegal still has the best chance to win it because
Probably.
they still have the core of that team, and yes, you say like they're not the same like they used to be, but there's nobody that's actually no other team has gotten close to their level, right? So it just feels like, and one thing about AFCON is the togetherness, digging deep, things like that help, and I feel like Senegal has that team spirit, been together for a long time, have the same coach. They just have this sort of identity to them, so it feels like
Continuity. They have continuity.
Yeah.
They do.
Ivory Coast. I want to shout out Ivory Coast because what a way to kick off the tournament. First of all, even separate from their performance on the pitch, I think it's been a very colorful reception. I don't remember the AFCON in Senegal being this colorful in terms of the way that the players were received. So shout out to Ivory Coast for sure. I think they absolutely kicked off the tournament in style. It was almost reminiscent of the way South Africa kicked off the World Cup in 2010, just with absolute, like, the players were up for it. You can tell like there was passion in their performance. Seko Fofana, what a goal! What a hit! What a banger! Even the second goal by I'm gonna say his name, Rasso or whatever his name was. That was another
that was a very
goal.
good goal. Yeah.
And for AFCON, you don't really get these kinds of like beautiful, like goals this early in the tournament. Like usually you have to wait for the moments of brilliance for when it's absolutely necessary. So I saw that they're in our group because I don't know. Now we have to really, really be on it to get out of
We have
that
to
group.
get the calculators out and say.
But no.
The thing is, I knew because Guinea-Bissau were so poor in the first game, and Guinea-Bissau were poor. Like their attack, wow, those
Yeah,
guys need to look at
horrible,
themselves.
horrible.
But I knew Equatorial Guinea would be up for it, just because there's no way two Guineas will just smell back to
But
back.
they're actually
like,
they're not that bad. Equatorial Guinea are not that bad. You like contrary to what many people think, they are better than their name.
We did create a lot of chances and we should have won that game.
Yeah,
we should have put that game away. I think our attackers, this selfishness is going to get ridiculous at this point. I don't know what kind of what is going to change this, but our attack is so selfish. It feels like we shoot from very strange positions. Yes.
Put the ball and would have won the game.
Just one time and we would have won the game. It felt like I was watching Chelsea against Nine-Man Spurs all over again. I was like, well, what are we doing with all of this space and all of these chances?
I don't know. I don't know if there's a goal bonus or something in their contract.
There must be.
We have to get it out.
If we don't win against Cote d'Ivoire on Thursday, we're definitely going to calculators because, like I was telling Adam before the show, luckily for us, this is the 24-team tournament for the first time. So there's a place for third best place team. So if
we used to call it best losers.
Best losers. Yeah. Hey, listen, in tournaments like this, as we've seen with Portugal, those best loser teams are always a dark horse to win the whole thing, man. There's just something about being in that fight for your life mode early that just makes you so.
Right?
Yeah, they were best losers. Yeah.
Wow.
I don't think they won a single game until the final.
Wow.
They drew every game and lost the other one. Yeah, they were.
Why Nigerians? Come on, we can still win it. So no need to panic. We're fine.
Honestly, that defense is scary.
Bro, I don't know what they were doing though. We have Calvin Bassey and Semi Ajayi would have been a better partnership.
This Trust Ekong experiment,
that guy, stop. I get it. Like when it comes to AFCON, experience matters. You need people that understand how to play the African whatever, And Calvin Bassey being a guy coming from, not played a lot of African football. I think was he at the last AFCON?
No, he wasn't.
No, so yeah, Semi was.
He was. He played right back.
Calvin
Bassey played in the last AFCON. He played as a fullback though.
Oh yeah, he did.
He played as a fullback.
He was?
I remember very vehemently. Yeah, he was still at Rangers at the time.
Oh yeah.
He played as a fullback.
So I feel like if this isn't his debut tournament, he should know how to play this time. Me Ajayi and then of course Olaino, and I don't think Zadio should play. What's the name of this other left back or
Sanusi?
I don't think he should play. I don't think he should play. He had two great chances today that he flopped.
And then I don't know. Like the coach doesn't trust I know I was playing right back, and there's a right back. We're like two right backs on the bench. Osai Samuel and the other.
Yeah, Osai Samuel.
Yeah. But what's wrong with Aino though? Aino was all right.
Yeah, he was good. He was very good. He was one of the best players in my opinion. He was the only one that would move. Him and Ademola Lookman to me were the performers of the night.
This is the best I've seen Ademola Lookman play. This is the best. Like
this Nigerian Messi that you guys have been trying to force down I've been telling you.
Oh, Simon. No, he's not.
That guy is. Listen, I've had enough of it. The only time I ever hear about this guy being good is when other Nigerians are telling me that he's good. Just trust me, bro. I've never seen it with my own two eyes. Never.
Trust me, bro.
How does this guy keep getting in the team ahead of Chukwueze? I don't get it.
Chukwueze
for a team that
Chukwueze is not any better. Chukwueze is not any better. I've never seen.
I'd rather have him, man. I'd rather have him. He's at least playing at a level where he can be held to high. I don't know what this Moses Simon guy is doing, man.
That's fair.
Is this how he plays for his club? If this is how he plays,
I think he's actually a lot better for his club.
Right? They all are. They all are. All of them. That's always been the problem.
They're all better for their clubs when they come to the national team.
But
that's why this Saudi thing is starting to look very promising. Because think about it, right? Back in the day, right? The reason why international tournaments were so fun was so some of these players were coming from clubs that, one, they didn't take their clubs their club football that serious, they always lived for the international tournaments. They were rested. They were just ready to go. They were passionate. Like even some of the greats in international football, like you look at their club careers and you're like, like Maradona, Ronaldo de Lima, like these guys were always up for the international tournaments, and their club careers were like, okay, decent. Now that guys are competing for Ballon d'Ors and Champions Leagues, and they don't care about AFCON anymore. Now look at the Saudi guys like Seko Fofana, the ones shining in AFCON. Maybe there's some merit in going to Saudi and just taking the year off and just prepare yourself for your
So
national team.
Osimhen should have gone to Saudi.
Hey, maybe Kvaratskhelia agent wasn't wrong. Maybe he wasn't wrong. Go to Saudi.
Hey man.
All right, guys. So yeah. So few games have gone by. Some shocking results. Match day 2 is going to throw up some very interesting matchups. Like we mentioned earlier, Nigeria, Cote d'Ivoire, and then Ghana, Egypt.
Oof.
Going to be very interesting.
Yeah, that's be a very good one for me. Either way, I'm cooking. I'm cooking.
We gonna eat. We gonna eat.
Okay, all right, guys. Before we go,
That's a good one for the neutrals.
Tell me it's AFCON.
Can you guys hear me? I feel like I'm delayed. Am I delayed?
You cut out for a bit,
just for a bit.
but you're fine now.
Okay. So yeah, so it's gonna be AFCON delayed, right? So what I'll do is I just throw the question and then like the person that answers it first or something like that who gets the point. Okay, so I want you guys like who can give me the countries that have hosted and won the tournament.
Cameroon.
Yeah. I was gonna say Cameroon too.
04.
Ghana.
Ghana, no.
Ghana, I've never done.
Wait, it's not Cameroon?
Cameroon is correct.
Oh.
Egypt.
Wait, so how many do you want?
Sorry?
Egypt.
How many do you want?
Just keep on going as much as you
Senegal and Cameroon are the two I know.
Okay, so you mentioned Senegal and Cameroon, right?
Yeah.
Okay, Adams?
Yeah, I was going to say Egypt and who else has hosted? Egypt and Algeria.
Egypt and Algeria. Okay, so from my list here, I can see Egypt. That's correct. Can I see? Yeah, Algeria is also correct. Uzo, you said Cameroon and Senegal?
Yeah.
Ooh, I can't see Cameroon here on my list.
I thought Cameroon
who hosted
won.
in 04? I was so sure Cameroon hosted in 04 or 02.
No, I think it was Ghana and Nigeria, right?
Ghana, Nigeria, 2000. Yep.
2000. That's the one I thought Ghana won.
No. So Senegal have not hosted and won as well. Cameroon have not hosted
and
won as well. So the people that have hosted and won are we have Ghana.
I said Ghana too, though. I said Ghana too. You said no.
I said Ghana. No?
Yeah, you said no.
Okay, all right. Okay, so I'll give you Ghana, Nigeria, Egypt, Algeria.
Oh, Nigeria. Oh,
South Africa, Tunisia, Egypt.
South Africa have won the AFCON.
96. They hosted and won in 96.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, remember there was a time that Nigeria had political issues. So 96 and 98, Nigeria did not go because the president at the time, General Sani Abacha, stopped us from going.
Interesting.
We won it in 94. We won it in 94, and then we were supposed to defend it in 96, but our military head of state then did not allow us to go, so we couldn't defend it. So South Africa hosted and won 96. Okay, that's history. That's for another time. Okay, what other question do I have for AFCON? Struggling here now. Okay, in terms of who can tell me in terms of AFCON appearances, right? Ivory Coast are third in terms of highest number of appearances at AFCON. Can you give me the two teams that have had more appearances than them?
Senegal.
Nope.
Cameroon and Egypt.
Egypt is definitely there.
Uzo said Egypt first, so Egypt's 1 point for you. There's not Cameroon, so there's one more team.
Ghana.
Adams got it. So 1 apiece. Right? Yes. So it's
I thought I
Ghana
said
and
it first, to be
Egypt.
fair.
Ghana and Egypt.
Can we get VAR on that?
Man.
No, Adams said it first. Adams said it first.
we check. We
was
check
wrong.
VAR.
It was close.
Yeah, it was close. It was close. Adams got it. Okay, and last, so I think it's one apiece, right? Adams, you got the, or Adams, you're
Yeah.
leading 2-1.
2-1.
One
Yeah,
apiece.
2-1. I got
Okay,
this
you
one.
got the other one. Okay, the final one. Let's see. Okay, so we know Egypt has won the most tournaments, 7.
Yeah.
Can you
7.
tell me the country with the highest number of silver medals in AFCON?
Bro,
Nigeria.
No,
Nigeria.
come on.
no,
Cameroon.
no.
Oh, no,
Senegal.
we have the highest number of third place
Yeah,
medals.
Senegal.
Nigeria has the highest number of bronze. Nigeria
Senegal.
Yeah, we have the highest number of them.
I just keep
No, it's not
mentioning
Senegal.
Ghana.
Ghana is correct.
Yeah, Ghana.
Ghana is
I just
correct.
kept going.
I need guys to know that wasn't skill. That's the Bruno Fernandes way of winning. He just kept spamming the same ball until it worked. I'm just
I just
saying.
kept going.
I was trying to think through the
No,
answer
I'm not even
properly.
gonna take that. That's just I'm not gonna celebrate that win. That was
To be fair, I was gonna say Cameroon or Ivory Coast because I know Ivory Coast went through a stretch where they just couldn't win in the final.
Yeah.
Somebody's good.
so-
Somebody's good.
what happened to
Somebody's good. Somebody's good was missing penalties in those finals too. I won't say who it is.
we'll see about we'll see about this. We'll see about the current goat. You can't do it for
guys.
a country that has won 7 times. You can't even do. You can't get them.
No, but I don't think Salah is the greatest African player of all time. I was seeing that debate on the timeline, and
Well, you guys have
I
said
was
it on
glad.
the show. You guys are shit.
No.
No. The greatest African player in the Premier League. That's what we said in the Premier League. Yeah, but he's not the greatest African of all. Like, no way. I like that the entire timeline, all the Africans on the timeline were in full agreement. Like, no, even some Egyptians were saying this guy hasn't even surpassed Abu Trika.
Yeah.
Some Egyptians were even saying that. So yeah, like, no, we're not about to invalidate our own cup by giving a guy who's won one league title for Liverpool the greatest African player. What kind of disrespect is that? I couldn't even believe that was a debate.
But come on,
That's all I'm saying.
You can also cut him some slack, man. He came at a time when the Egyptian football was.
There's no slack for an Egyptian player. Like, you're expected to excel. I'm sorry. We weren't cutting Mido or Abutrika any slack. Those guys went and got it done. Go win the AFCON. It's your birthright as an Egyptian.
Pharaoh.
It is. It is. When you're the most winningest country, that means Salah grew up watching Egyptian captains lift AFCON. How dare you? How dare you not lift the AFCON?
He's right.
Come on now.
You guys are not serious.
He's right. They wanted my goal to do. Come on, man.
Which of your goats? Which of your goats has won anything for their country? Lampard? Is it Lampard or is he Hazard? They've not won nothing for their country.
Well, you know what? You know what I've just noticed? Listen, Adams, we can't allow you to stand Osimhen anymore, man. Because the guy will end up not winning anything for his country. You need to leave Osimhen alone. It's you. You are the common denominator.
My goat,
you are the common denominator.
What are you guys saying? Mikel?
Which Mikel?
Mikel, my goats. He won it for his country. Stop playing, man.
Oh my goodness. All right, guys. Okay, all right. So I think we have to go. This is where we call it a day, a night. The end of the show. Thanks, guys, for watching. Thanks, guys, for don't forget to do the usual stuff. Like, comment. If you don't agree with what guys have said, is Kevin De Bruyne better than Lampard, or is Lampard have a better
KDB the GOAT? I'm trying to do okay. I don't know how to do okay.
Let us know what you think. Is Mikel Obi better than
Let him know.
Lampard.
Let him know. Let him know. You guys always let him know.
Is Mikel Obi better than Michael?
KDB is clear, man. KDB is clear, man.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Take care. See you in the next one.
Safe.